What's going on, gang? Welcome back into Lights Out Gaming. For those of you that are new here, my name is Mike, and what you are watching today is another Lights Out gun review. This is a series where I go through my armory and I ask you, what guns would you like covered? Do you want to know what attachments to use on them? What I do is I go with your gun the entire week and I test out the attachments and the best style to use it. This week, I was fortunate enough to be requested with the HBra3 Insanity. Now, last week I covered the ASM1 Speakeasy. If you didn't see that video, I'll leave a link in the description below. But I will tell you that the Insanity is another great gun. Alright, so first off, I want to give a big shout out to Adam, Cloody, and Deanwood for requesting the Insanity because I definitely liked testing out this gun. Let's take a look at it. First off, the damage. You get a +1 in damage. That's always a good thing, and I'm going to get into why it's even better on the Insanity in just a second. The fire rate is a +2, so again, just like the Speakeasy, it's almost a built-in rapid fire, which isn't available on assault rifles, so the variants are really the only way to capture that. And the only negative it has a -1 in handling. By now, we should probably know what handling is, and handling is hip fire accuracy. If you are hip firing the HBra, as I call it, you're doing it wrong. This gun is not built for hip fire. This gun is built for an assault rifle. That is it. All right, you don't use this gun in close quarters. You use it to hold down a line of sight. It basically the damage, the +1. What it's going to do is it allow you to 4-shot almost across the map, and that's including a silencer on the gun. So this is really good. And the weird part is, with the rapid fire on this, it actually makes it feel better for me. The fire rate with the +2, it makes it feel better because the stock HBR, it's kind of clunky. Like, the way it fires, it's chunky. It just feels like chunk, 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 like the way it's coming out. So when the fire rate went up, I actually like it on this gun a bit more than I do the stock one. So that's nice, and when you throw a silencer on it, it's going to help. Because here's the downside to the gun, guys. You cannot use many attachments on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the attachments right now so that you can see them. You can't use any over barrel attachments on this gun, so you can't use things like, you know, like a red dot sight. And that could be a little frustrating with this gun, because the iron sights are not very good on it. I will tell you this though, if you stick with the gun and you learn its recoil pattern, it will get better over time. That I promise you. Because when I first started using it, I had to throw a red dot on the HBR, but I got the Insanity and I was like, oh god, I didn't like the iron sights, but I stuck with it, and once you get used to the recoil, they're not so bad. I can say that. Alright, so obviously we can't use a red dot sight on it, so let's look at the attachments again. We have a laser sight. Again, we're not using this gun as a submachine gun. It shouldn't be used in close quarters. Obviously those times are going to come, but it's not what it's built for, so like, laser sight is kind of off the table for me. The first attachment we're going to throw on the gun is a stock. The stock on assault rifles is very good. It allows you to aim down sights and move while aiming down sights. It doesn't make you feel like you're stuck in mud. So it's definitely something I like with this gun. When you're in those, you know, longer range gun battles, you can move side to side and evade, you know, enemies' bullets. So that's the first one we're going to go with. I do like stock on most assault rifles. I mean, if you don't like how it feels with, I suppose you could take that off and use quick draw or something like that, but stock is definitely my preferred one here. Again, tracker, we're never going to cover that. Foregrip. Now, the recoil on this gun, as I said, I'm fine with the recoil with actual higher fire rate, which is kind of weird. So for the first time, I'm not going to suggest that you guys use a grip on the gun. I don't think it's necessary, and I'm going to tell you why. The next attachment we put on is going to reduce muzzle flash, and therefore it's going to make it a little bit easier to see, you know, through those sights and everything, the suppressor. The reason we want to use a suppressor on this gun is because with that increased damage, basically the HBR is not going to lose almost any damage, because it's going to go up to a 5-shot kill at an extremely, extremely long sight. Ones that you're almost never going to see in Advanced Warfare, to be honest with you. I mean, this map that you're watching right now might be one of them, where it's like extremely long and you could find long sight lines, but there's not very many in the game where you're going to see that it would actually be a 5-hit kill range. So that's why I actually suggest using a suppressor on the gun, keeping you off that mini-map. And keep in mind, guys, when I talk about the attachments and things to use, this is basically for an all-around player. This is for someone like me. I play the objective, but I also can play a different role. I can play that stealth role. I like doing both, but when you're on a flag, obviously everybody knows you're there. But the suppressor doesn't really, hurt this gun very much, so that's why I actually like it. And on top of that, it reduces that muzzle flash so that you're able to see down these sights a little bit better. And then we're on to the parabolic microphone. The parabolic microphone, definitely not something that's necessary. If you're playing TDM, that's something that could benefit you on any gun, but it's not something that I really recommend because it only shows people that are using silencers in their gun. And to be honest, I've noticed a lot of people in this game don't really use silencers. The next one, quick draw. This one's always nice to have, but when I see quick draw, I think submachine gun. I think, something like a Bal Inferno where it's used more like a submachine gun because you're going to be in those tight quarters where someone's going to come up on you real quick and you're going to have to, quickly draw your weapon. So that's when I think quick draw, I think it'd be more useful on guns like that. This one, you're supposed to be holding down those anchors, guys. It's a gun, it's an assault rifle. This gun, even though it's a great gun, it is an assault rifle. I can't put it any other way. You can't treat this like a submachine gun. There are some assault rifles that you can. This is not one of them. Dual magazine. Again, this is something that I don't recommend on any gun necessarily because dual mags, it just wastes one of the slots that is used on something so much better. Grenade launcher. Guys, we don't use noob tubes, so we're not gonna suggest anybody throws one of those on anytime soon. And then the last attachment that we're gonna do is extended mags. Now, obviously with the sights the way that they are, and they're not ideal, I mean, they're usable, and with the suppressor, it's going to help things, but extended mags, what it's going to do, it's going to give us that little added protection in case we miss a few of those shots. Another thing is that I found myself with this gun going on streaks running out of ammo if I didn't run extended mags. So that's another reason I definitely like it on there, because it comes with 45 in a clip with that, and then so you'll have 90 reserve. Outside of that, you would have just 30 with the regular and 60 in reserve. But that wraps up pretty much the attachments. How to use this gun, I think I've explained that throughout. It's a true assault rifle. That's the best way to put it. I'm actually surprised that more competitive players don't use the HBR. But then again, thinking about it, the Insanity is the version. So if the Insanity was allowed in Pro Circuit, I'm sure more people would actually use it because this gun is far better than the stock version of the HBR. So grading this gun, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Now, I know a lot of people, some people actually say that this is the best gun in the game. I'm going to say no, just because, like I said, it is a true assault rifle, and it's not really that good of a gun up close. So, there's a little bit of negative to this. There's also the negative of no sights being able to put on it. So, there are a few negatives, but the gun itself is very, very powerful if in the right hands. So 8.5 out of 10, great gun. It's definitely one of those you do not want to delete if you get it in your armory. But that's going to wrap up this episode for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comment section what gun that you would like to see next week. I have been keeping a tally of all the recommendations that we've had throughout the weeks. And as of right now, it looks like the Bal Inferno will be the gun next week. Thank you guys for giving me some good guns to work with. I greatly appreciate it. But until next time, lights out.